Hello, world. Welcome to another week of Golf Subpar. Colt Knost and Drew Stoltz coming at you. Keegan Bradley. We've had him on our other show, SiriusXM. He's our guest on Golf Subpar this week, and once again, he did not disappoint.
He's great, man. He really opens up in these things. He's got some really, obviously a New England guy, he's diehard Boston, everything. But on top of that, he's gotten to be really close with Michael Jordan, so he's got some great stories about him, as well as Tom Brady. He's got to spend some time around Brady, and there's a really good story in there about when the two of them were down in the Bahamas and played little hoops together, which is a fantastic story.
It is, and I mean, how about being a part of that on the basketball court, first off with Michael Jordan, but then just throw Tom Brady in there as well.
Oh, yeah, do you want to Hey, you want to play a little twos? Oh, yeah, me and you? All right, you got Tom. Don't touch him.
But this one was so much fun. I wish he could have been here in person with us, but still, nonetheless, it was one of my favorite interviews we've done. All right, well, before we get to Keegan Bradley, Sleaze, you have a very important message from our official sponsor.
Yes, I do, Colt. Thank you very much. Support for Subpar is brought to you by our official sponsor, Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technology developments to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. That's why Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. The Manscaped engineering team just spent 18 months perfecting the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created, and just released the new and improved Lawn Mower 3.0. And when I tell you this is premium, I mean premium. The battery will last up to 90 minutes. I mean, 90 minutes, fellas. That is an absolute session. Make an evening out of this thing, you know what I mean? Maybe you light some candles, throw on a little Boys to Men, and just absolutely get amongst it. Get a little creative with it, too, if you want. Maybe you throw a little lightning bolt in there, you know what I mean? Spice things up a bit for the ladies. I don't know. That's the beauty of Manscaped, dude. The opportunities are endless. Options galore when you're dealing with Manscaped. And myself personally, I've not spent the full 90-minute session on my balls just yet, but let me tell you, I am planning on it, because after just a couple of short sessions, my balls are looking as smooth as the top of my boy Colt's head right now. And if you've never seen Colt without a hat on, which a lot of you probably haven't, the top of his head is smoother than a baby's bottom. So go ahead, go out there, get the new Lawn Mower 3.0 and treat yourself to a little session with you and your boys. I'm telling you right now, get 20% off and free shipping with the code SUBPAR at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code SUBPAR.
Well, it's now time to welcome in our next guest to Golf Subpar, four-time PGA Tour winner, including the 2011 PGA Championship. Some call him Grandpa. We're going to call him Keegan Bradley. Keegan, welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys.
Well, let's just start right there. Your nickname is Grandpa amongst some of your really good friends out there. You've had it since college. Can you please explain to us why Grandpa?
Well, I'm always the first to go home when we go out, number one, even in college. And I was always the one that was like, oh, let's just stay in. So everyone called me Grandpa in college, and they still do. But I just get tired. I can't stay out till 2 a.m. I go to bed at like 10:30. I'm like, all right, guys, I've had enough. This is enough for me.
I love it. Do you like the nickname or not?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, in college, that was like a real derogatory thing towards me. It's like, oh, Grandpa's here. He's gonna want to go to bed. Now I'm like, yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, you got a wife and kid now. Of course, you want to go to bed. I agree.
Yeah, I can't get to bed early enough. But that was given to you in college at St. John's. I find it interesting because this gets referenced a lot. Like, you went to St. John's. You spent your final year of high school in Massachusetts, where you won the state championship, by the way, and yet were not highly recruited. Like, how does that work? You win state, you got to think there's at least a handful of schools knocking on your door.
I didn't get recruited really by anybody other than St. John's. URI, they sent me some recruiting letters, and I think they offered me a scholarship, but it was like 20%. I can't exactly remember the right amount. It was barely a scholarship. And the reason why I went to St. John's was I loved the coach Frank Darby, but they offered me a full scholarship right there when I went on the recruiting trip. And it was like when he said it to me, it kind of blew me away. I couldn't believe it. And my plan was to go there, play well, and then transfer into maybe a bigger program. And I just fell in love with St. John's. I fell in love with all the guys on the team. And there was a point where I thought about it, and then I just decided, no, I love it. I want to stay at St. John's. And there was a part of me that was worried that I wasn't getting the right sort of training to become a pro, but everyone takes a different path.
Yeah, I heard y'all were just kind of a team that would show up, hit a few balls, and play a lot. There wasn't a whole lot of practice going on up at St. John's.
We didn't have a home course. We didn't, and then it's in New York, so the wintertime we couldn't play, and one of the things I would do is I would go into we had a thing in the St. John's called the auxiliary gym. It was just this gym that no one used, and they used to set up batting cages in there, and I would like pull a rug in from somewhere, and I would hit balls in this batting cage, and if I hit a shot perfectly right and hit the metal part of the cage, the ball would come whizzing back at my head. And then I'm speaking to like my buddy John Curran and all these guys, and they got, facilities and indoor this and ranges they can go to. We would get a call in the summer from our coach and be like, all right, you can go play this course, but you got to go in the maintenance area and start on the third hole. Like, and don't look anybody in the eyes while you're there. So it was a different experience, but it all worked out.
You mentioned John Curran. What was it like playing in the massive shadow of John Curran?
I did play in the massive shadow of John Curran. I moved from Vermont when I was 16, and like you said, I was an accomplished player in New England and Vermont. I mean, that doesn't mean much in the golf world, but I went to Hopkins High School, and John Curran was there, and he was one of the top-ranked juniors in the world. And I played number 2 on the team behind John. But what was great, when I moved to Massachusetts and became friends with John, it was the first person that I had met that wanted to do what I wanted to do and had a love for the game like I did. And we were able to play. I always had someone to play with, and it was a big change in my career.
Is it fair to say at this point you're the most famous person ever from Vermont?
I don't know the answer to that. I doubt it. Isn't Fish from Vermont?
Oh, the band Fish? Oh, yeah. Colt would know. That's Colt's genre.
I have no idea.
He's eating granola and driving around in his Subaru. He's got a lot of fish going on.
Mm-hmm. You go from St. John's, you go to the mini tours for a year or so, then you make it out on the PGA Tour in 2011, and you have one of the greatest seasons ever for a rookie on the PGA Tour. You win the Byron Nelson, you win the PGA Championship, and then you're named Rookie of the Year. Take us through that year. What was that like for you?
Well, was that your rookie year too, right?
No, that was my second go around. I was out there in 2009.
Yeah, I mean, I just, my lifelong goal, as it is for everyone, is to make it to the tour. And I went through, like you said, St. John's, Vermont. I played a year in the Hooters Tour, it was called the Nationwide then, it's Korn Ferry now, and then I got on the tour. So I took sort of a different route than a lot of guys, and I had realized my lifelong dream of making it to the tour, and I never had really thought past that point. And once I got out there, I felt very comfortable. I felt like the courses suited me better than the mini tours in the Korn Ferry Tour. I felt like it suited my game more of hitting drivers, and I got out there and I felt very comfortable. And I, at the time, didn't know, but I got very lucky, sort of. I came in 6th or 7th at the Humana or Bob Hope, whatever it is now. And that reshuffled me up. And now I see guys, rookies, and have great Korn Ferry and get on the tour, and they don't reshuffle, and their careers are almost over because you don't get in any tournaments. So I reshuffled up quick, and I got in everything. And everything was just happening at the right time, at the right moment, and I'm very thankful and lucky too.
Did all that success, like you come out your rookie year, you win twice, including a major, your first major you ever played in, you win the thing. Did that like skew your perception of how tough it is to win on the PGA Tour? Like, hey, this shit's pretty easy. I just showed up here, I've won twice, and I already got a major.
Not really. I definitely think there's an aspect of that, of like not knowing how hard it is to win a major. Like every tournament was a major for me at that point. Every time I teed it up, whether it was Sony or the PGA, like that was the biggest tournament I'd ever played. And I was trying to establish myself in my career, but also keep my card. And, all of a sudden I was in the PGA with the chance to win. And it just felt like, this is what I've been doing, just keep my head down and go. Now I think if I had, you get in contention in a major, it might weigh on you a little more, especially if you hadn't won one. But, so I kind of had that going for me, and that was kind of a plus that I didn't even know that was happening.
Yeah, so you're at Atlanta Athletic Club. You get to go in the PGA after winning the Byron Nelson, and you're around the lead. I think you're in the last group on going into the weekend. You're right there with 4 holes to play. You make a triple bogey on the 15th hole on Sunday, which is an absolute, obviously, a disaster. You're 5 shots back with 3 to play to your good friend Jason Duffner. At that point, were you kind of like, okay, let's just try to have a really good finish, or did you think you could still win the golf tournament?
So I was in the second to last group on Sunday. Duff was behind me. And I made a promise to myself that I wasn't going to look at any leaderboards the whole day. Now, I probably would do that differently now, but back then, that was just a goal of mine, I'm just going to go play my round and see what happens. So I had no clue where I stood. I made triple on 15, and I didn't know where I stood, number one, but winning the tournament, it was a long walk to 16, and I just kept telling myself that this is the best. This is going to be the best shot I'm going to hit all week. I'm going to hit this drive in the fairway. And I smashed my drive down there. I had 30 yards less of what I had all week. I made birdie there, and then I made a really long putt on 17 to go birdie 16, 17. And again, I wasn't looking at any leaderboards. I had no clue what Duff was doing. Meanwhile, the 15th hole is a 270-yard par 3 with water. Like, it's a joke. And so I'm walking to the tee and down the fairway, and the crowd is yelling out what's happening. So my whole plan of not knowing the leaderboards was out the window, because guys are telling me, Duff just hit it in the water. Duff made this. You're tied for the lead. And I'm just trying to, like, walk down the fairway. So it was, my plan kind of changed, because then I'm thinking, do these guys really know, or are they yelling out? Maybe they don't know. So I ended up getting in the playoff with Duff and beating him, but pretty incredible week. When I think back on that, I see it happening from, like, almost like I'm watching on TV. I don't see it through my sort of vision. It's hard to explain. It seems surreal.
Would you ever do that again, like having done it that way, not looking at a scoreboard for the entire Sunday? If you're in contention at your next major, are you going to, would you do that same thing?
I don't know. I think if you're in the final group, it depends on the situation that you're in. If you've got the lead and you're got the lead going into Sunday by 2 or something, you shoot 300 or 400 up the front, you're in the lead. Maybe let's just play. But I think that I'm a little more comfortable, I would want to know kind of what's going on. But there's definitely a good aspect of not knowing, in that I'm trying to do the best I can on every hole. So in a major, if the pin's over a bunker, hitting it to 30 feet might be a great shot. And that's hopefully not going to change what I'm going to do anyways.
Are you more comfortable coming down the stretch in a major championship, or at those photo shoots you used to have to do for Tommy Hilfiger?
Definitely major championship. Those were they were different. Let's put it that way. I had to
You look like such a natural.
Yeah, they would fly. Actually, see one of the models that I did it with. She's in like a perfume commercial with Jared Leto now. Like, they flew in like proper French photographers and like these really serious models, and I would go in there and be like, one of them we did on a yacht in like the ocean, and I was just so uncomfortable the whole time. But yeah, it's definitely not something you think about when you're making the tour.
What a demotion for those models. They show up for Keegan and they get freaking Jared Leto, man. What a downgrade. Who's this bum? I wanted Keegan.
I'm so awkward too, so like they'd talk to me and I'd be just like, what? Like, I don't know what I'm doing here. This doesn't make any sense. And the photographer would be like, Keegan, I really need you to relax a little bit. Like, you're way too uptight for this. Like, he used to make me do this exercise with my mouth. I'd have to go to try to like calm my face down. So it was hardcore. It was something.
That should have been filmed, boo. Behind the scenes, Keegan Bradley, the model.
Go on YouTube. He's got sweater tied around his neck. I watched it all today.
Okay.
The model, she's beautiful. It's incredible.
That's so good. Well, you have this monster year in 2011. One of the perks of that, obviously, is you get on the Ryder Cup team at Medina, and you're paired. You've played multiple Ryder Cups, but the pairing that sticks out to me, and maybe it does to you as well, and I think a lot of golf fans, is the one you had with Phil Mickelson. You come out there, first Ryder Cup. How is there a better person on the planet that you could have been teamed up with than Phil Mickelson?
No, well, actually, I've never played with anyone else but Phil in 2 Ryder Cups and a President's Cup. So I don't know what it's like to have another partner. But I remember Medina being just so nervous, like to the point of like I didn't want to play, really. I was that uncomfortable. And then I got on the tee and I'm there with Phil. I'm there with one of the greatest players ever. And we just were such a great partnership. Like, he would feed off me, and then I would know I loved playing with Phil for a couple of reasons. One, in alternate shot, I knew I could hit it anywhere, and he would know he'd hit one out, or I'd miss the green and he'd chip it to a foot. The other thing that we did was in best ball, my strength is I hit it pretty straight down the fairway, and Phil is dinging it over here and over there, and he's hitting shots out of the woods to 10 feet. And guys are like, he's over there. I don't even know where he is. I just hear the crowd cheering, and the next thing I know, I look, it's up by the green. So I loved kind of our dynamic as a partnership, and I was very willing to let Phil kind of talk and like lead the way, and he was the boss, and that really helped me too. And I always text him during these Ryder Cups and stuff how thankful I am for him taking me under his wing. And as a rookie, it's so important to have a guy like that as your partner, because you're so uncomfortable and nervous, and a guy like Phil takes that away.
How big is there a better rah-rah guy than Phil out there? I mean, your first one, you said you're so nervous you don't even want to play, but that he waves the pom-poms for his partner. Specifically, I would think a rookie like you better than anyone, it seems like.
Absolutely. And what Phil does is, what he's great at is kind of, if the situation is really tense, he has a great way of like making a joke or saying something that kind of making you laugh, and that can kind of disarm you. Or he used to have me rub his belly because he said it gave me good energy, like stuff like that. And I'd be like freaking out over stuff, and he'd go, "Come rub my belly. This is gonna help me make this putt." And I go over there, and I'd be like, "All right, I feel better now. Maybe I am gonna make this putt." So, stuff like that was. He's just Phil, and you guys know him. He's just the best. He's just a fun guy to be around.
You can't rub the belly anymore, though.
No.
You get teamed up with him again, you're going to be rubbing that six-pack, and it doesn't have the same juice.
Is there anything better or anything you look forward to more than playing on those teams, though? Because that just looks like the greatest time, and also the most nerve-wracking at the same time.
It is, because as golfers, we crave that locker room kind of team atmosphere, because so often we're so on our own in the sport. And we're on our own when we win, and we're on our own when we lose, or when we miss a cut. And it's so fun to be in that team locker room where, yeah, we have friends and we root for them, but we always want to beat that other person. But in this atmosphere, you're really rooting for this guy to play well and to do well. And it's so genuine, and you can root for all the people you want, or you can have a favorite player. But in this instance, they're on your team. You want to win this. And it's almost like a drug. You really want to get on those teams and enjoy those times.
Yeah. So your first Ryder Cup was on home soil in 2012. Then you make the next team in 2014 over in Scotland. What's it like? Obviously, the first one, pretty much everyone in the gallery is rooting for you. Now you go across enemy lines over to Scotland. What was the biggest difference for you, and is it as hostile as it looks on TV?
I would say it's a lot crazier in the U.S. than it is over there. The fans are a little more subdued, but it's still intimidating. It's not intimidating. It's just, it brings a whole nother element into what you're doing, because if you hit a bad shot or do something bad, they're going to cheer and they're going to love it. But then there was also such a fun atmosphere, because you're kind of the villain. You can kind of go in there and be like, all right, we're going to go ahead and shut these guys up, or we're going to go beat this team, and it's going to feel even better. So there's that side of it, but certainly playing at home is way more fun.
And I hear so much about the Ryder Cup team rooms. It's one of the things that I think is the most fascinating thing in golf. And what role, you were a rookie one year, then you were a veteran going into your second one. What role would you say you play in that team room? Are you the jokester, the shit talker, the serious guy? If you had to define your role in that player's room, what role do you fill?
My role, whenever I'm in these team atmospheres, I kind of like to be in the background. There's definitely the guys that deserve the attention of the room, like Phil, Tiger, Stricker, Furyk, those guys. I never felt like I was in that spot where I could. There's always a moment in these team events where the team gets together and they throw out ideas of who they want to play with, what days they want to play, what sort of, do you want to play alternate shot or best ball? And I was always just like, plus I had Phil that was doing the most talking, so I didn't have to say much. But I would kind of just sit in the back and just kind of, sometimes I'd be sitting there thinking, I can't believe. I remember for Medina I think the BMW event, we had a team dinner, only the team, and this is way before the tournament. And I remember sitting in this room thinking, I cannot believe I'm here doing this. Like all of this 2 years ago, I was on the Hooters tour, and now I'm in this team room, and we're talking about the Ryder Cup, and there's some moments of like pinch yourself stuff that's so fun. That's why you want to be on those teams, because you get a friendship with those players beyond that is incredible.
Yeah, and you also get some special guests that come to those team rooms, and a guy that you've become very close to, Mr. Michael Jordan, was in the Ryder Cup team room. Can you tell us a little bit about your relationship with Michael?
Yeah, MJ, actually, it's the first time I met him was at Medina, and I've always said there's no one that loves golf more than MJ. He just loves it. I'd say he plays 36 holes pretty much every day of his life, and he loves the Ryder Cup, which is such a cool thing. He goes every year, doesn't matter home or away. And again, it's just another guy that I met that loves golf and loves to go out and play a match and loves to joke around on the course, and somebody that, again, that's your idol as a kid, and now you're able to have a friendship with them, and somebody that you look up to, and somebody that I can text and lean on for advice that you can't get from pretty much any other human being to ever walk the planet. So it's and Colt, you know him, Colt. He's just the greatest guy. He's nice to my friends. He's nice to people that just walk up to him. He's nice to people in restaurants. He's somebody that I really look up to and envy at what he does with other people and the way he treats people.
Well, you might change what you just said after I read to you what he texted me, because I asked if y'all have been playing much golf lately, and he said, as of lately, Keegan has been my whipping boy.
Ooh.
He said he has just been slapping you around.
Fighting words. Okay. Defend yourself.
Okay, I will give him. Yeah, so if you win one match out of 250, does that count as a whipping boy?
Hey, I can only say what the great Michael Jordan said.
We played a game of Wolf. This is his big win. We played a game of Wolf before I left, and he gets all these shots. Okay, so he gets on these holes, and he'll just drop us all and go for his shots and try to bully us and hammering and pressing. But he got us that day. I'll give him that. But one out of 1,000, I guess he can hang his hat on that.
I guess he got you the last time out, so that's why as of lately you've been
a short
his
memory
whipping boy. Yep.
Short memory guy.
I love it.
Yeah.
Give us a story where you've whooped his ass, because the only thing I ever read, the only thing I ever hear about is guys like, oh, I had Michael 3 down, and then he won the last 4, and I lost. Give me a story about you whipping Michael's ass, because there's none out there.
If I always say to him, if I'm running low, if I don't want to go to the bank, I just text MJ to see if he wants to play some holes. But the thing with MJ is, if you get him down, you got to beat him, because if you get him riled up, just like on all these like The Last Dance and stuff, if you start talking and he gets excited and he'll start pressing you, like with my buddies especially, he likes to press you to kind of get you uncomfortable. So you got to get him down, and whenever I get him down, I don't say much. I just like go about my business. But I can't think of a specific story, because there's too many of them. I can't pick one. They're all my favorites. Like you can't pick your favorite kid.
You're 249 and 1 in the last 250, so that's pretty good.
Well, I want you to share. First off, I didn't even know this story until today. I was digging up some dirt on you, and I know you went to the Bahamas, and y'all land with Michael Jordan, and there's Tom Brady also on a plane, and y'all end up playing a pickup basketball game. Okay, first off, this just blows my mind. Okay, you're out there playing basketball with Michael Jordan and Tom Brady. Like, at some point, did you pinch yourself and be like, holy shit, is this really happening right now?
Yeah, so we were going to the Bahamas. We were with Luke Donald too, and we land, and this plane pulls up next to us, and we're looking out, and this guy gets out. I'm like, that looks like Tom Brady. I mean, Tom Brady, I grew up in New England. MJ and Tom Brady were my guys, but Tom Brady is like a god where I grew up. And so I didn't know this, but MJ and Brady are pretty close, and it just was total luck that this happened. So we played golf a couple times, and I remember this one thing. Brady, they were talking trash with each other, and MJ said something like, "Get back to me when you got 6 championships." And this was now he's got 6. Now he's come back, and he's like, it's like crazy to think about. This was probably 5-6 years ago, but we were sitting around at the house, and I said to Luke Donald, I was like, let's go let's go shoot some hoops. I wanted to see if I could get MJ to come shoot with us. And so MJ's like, where are you going? We're like, oh, we're just going to go shoot a little hoops. He goes, oh, okay, I'm not going to come. All right, it's fine. Sure enough, we convinced him to come. He goes, well, I'm not going to bring my shoes. I'm just going to go, and we're going to just go. So we go down there. We played 21, and he's just kind of hanging. And then at one point, he looked at one of the guys that worked there. He goes, go back and get my shoes. And so I was like, okay, nice. This is good. Now we're talking. So then all of a sudden now people are coming out from everywhere, from their houses. It's MJ's on the court, and here comes Brady. And Brady's like, I want to play. So we played. It was me and a couple other guys at Baker's Bay, and MJ and Brady got to be on the same team. They're friends. And Luke was on that team. And I had to guard Brady, and Brady was going so hard, like too hard, like elbowing me and like hitting me and like going up for rebounds. And I was like, dude, you've got to chill out, because if you come down and like tear your ACL, I'm never going to be able to go home for Christmas ever again. And he was like really, really serious. Like, I was an incredible basketball player, but I have a picture of me guarding MJ and him kind of doing his moves where he picks the ball up. He's doing this. He's talking trash. And again, it's one of these moments. It's like, wow. And obviously it shouldn't come as a surprise, but it was incredible how good he was. Like, we were playing outside, and it was super windy. And, you know, when you shoot outside and it's windy, it's hard to make baskets. And he was shooting these like punch shots that were like hitting the back of the rim. And it was just awesome. It was just, that's a memory of mine that's in the Hall of Fame of memory.
I want to see that picture, because that's got to be incredible. I mean, that would be a picture you'd never lose. That's amazing. I have a few. And he was talking, and then all of a sudden, 200 people are now watching this basketball game, and MJ's loving it. Like, he was talking trash, and you know, there's some videos on YouTube of it. It's
Were you just letting Brady score? Because you're like, dude, if I accidentally go at the ball and break his thumb, like, I'm gonna be the most hated man in America?
No, because part of me's like, this guy's tested me right now. Like, he's like, I can't back down from him. But then I'm like, I don't want to tear my ACL either. Yeah. He's got $200 million in the bank. I'm still trying to, you know, but what was really uncomfortable was how good he was. Because I think I'm a decent basketball player, and he was like really good. And I really literally had to go, dude, you gotta cool it, because this is like good. One of us is going to get hurt here.
That's hilarious.
That's so good.
Tom Brady, obviously, first off, one of the reasons me and you get along so good, one of many reasons, is we love trash talking football. And I know you're a diehard Patriots fan, like I'm a diehard Cowboy fan, but I just love giving it to you when something bad happens to the Patriots, which is not very often. But when Tom Brady signed with the Buccaneers, it was honestly top 10 days of my life, just because I could mess with you finally. What was that day like for you when he left your beloved New England Patriots?
So I had been hearing rumors all year that he was leaving, like guys that would know, guys like sports commentators, people that spoke to him. But I never thought when the time was going to come for him to like tell Belichick I'm leaving. I never thought he was going to actually do it. I just didn't. But I've been hearing the whole year. I heard he was going to the Raiders. I thought he was going to the Raiders the whole time. And then when it happened, it was like shocking. Like I remember, I couldn't believe it. Like, this is a guy, and I've told this to Brady before. My love for the Patriots goes back to when I was a little kid. Like, I have such memories with my dad watching them win a Super Bowl in my basement. And then I have a memory now with my son. And I went to 2 Super Bowls with my wife where they won. And then now I watched a Super Bowl win with my little son, Logan. So I had these like life memories that go along with these Patriots and Tom Brady, as corny as that sounds. But when he left, I was so sad. Like, I was like, this is such, and I'm 34 years old. Like, I'm an adult now. I'm not 13. And I was bummed. But when Gronkowski went to Tampa, I started to get upset. I went from sad to being like, I'm not liking this anymore.
Do you own, true or false, a Tom Brady popsicle colored Tampa Bay TB12 jersey yet?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's true.
I'm a Tom Brady New England Patriot fan. I mean, I always want these guys to do well, but man, I would just, if this Cam Newton can come in and they can meet in the Super Bowl or something, holy cow.
Oh my God. I wouldn't be able to be around you. I would not be able to be around you if Cam Newton leads them to a Super Bowl against Tampa Bay. Like, that would just be.
Their Super Bowl odds went from 34-1 to 19-1, and then I just read a sports better, a sharp, that says the real odds he thinks is 12-1.
Wow,
pretty good odds.
So you like the signing?
I think it's incredible. I love it. I think he can come in. I don't know, because if you look back to his last healthy season, he was incredible. Mm-hmm. But in the last couple seasons, it's been terrible because I think he's hurt. But I don't know. I'm excited.
If Cam comes in and wins the Super Bowl in his first year as a healthy Cam, does that just prove that, hey, it wasn't Tom Brady? Maybe it's Bill Belichick that's the master behind all this secret sauce?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
No.
It's Tom. My best friend, Tom. My best friend. It's my guy, Tom.
Yeah.
Well,
let me ask you this.
I saw him recently at the Pro. I saw Brady, and I was like, I went up to him and I was like, hey, I'm always going to be rooting for you, blah, blah, blah. And then after I was like, man, that was so weird. I can't believe I said that. I went back to like my 13-year-old self. Like, he's got to feel good for me saying it. Like it matters to him. But I was like, hey, I'm always going to be rooting for you. Don't worry. Blah, blah, blah.
Tom, you can still always call me if you need to talk about anything.
Tom can sleep easy at night knowing he's got Keegan's support, even though he's on the Bucks.
My wife always makes fun of me because I get starstruck around Tom Brady a little bit. I've met presidents, Michael Jordan, all these guys. Tom Brady's the guy where I'm like, after I say something, I'm like, man, that did not come out right. That's not what I meant to say. So
that's awesome.
That's great. I got to ask you this one question because I'm genuinely interested, because you were probably the first guy. I'm a big shoe guy. You were the first guy that I can remember wearing Jordan golf shoes on the golf course. And obviously you have a close relationship with MJ, so I assume that's how it came about. But how do you go? Is that a situation where you approach Michael Jordan like, hey, dude, I'd love you to make some golf shoes and I'd wear them for you? How do you get that deal?
So this actually goes back to a Tommy Hilfiger photo shoot, if you can believe it.
Oh yeah.
On full circle here. So I had a shoe deal with a certain company, and they had a clause in my contract that said, if I have a golf club in my hand and I'm getting a photo taken, I have to have these style shoes on. If I don't, they can terminate my contract. So I did this deal almost. I was with this company, and then I signed this deal. And I did this because I liked this guy that worked for this company. It wasn't a deal that I had to have. I just thought this was the right thing to do. So I did a Tommy Hilfiger shoot that was super fancy. It had like a tux on or something. And I had wooden golf clubs that were like props on my shoulder or something. And I had dress shoes on. They saw this photo and terminated my contract. And I was so pissed. Like, I was like, furious about it. And so then, like, the next day I'd been playing golf a ton with MJ, and I struck up a friendship. I just got up the nerve one day. I said, hey, do you have any interest in doing golf shoes someday? And he was like, yeah, I've been wanting to do this, and would you be willing to go out to Oregon and blah, blah, blah. And so I went out there and went through all the steps, and that's how it happened. And it's to watch, you can see why Jordan brand and Nike is so successful, because the focus they put on the shoes. I wanted the tongue a little longer, a little wider, so when it rained it wouldn't like drip in. Or I wanted the shoelaces a little shorter, or this and that. It did everything. It was really incredible.
That's incredible.
Air Keegans coming soon. Waiting on those Air Keegans.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, Keegan, this is the last part we do. We do it with every guest. It's called Emergency 9. 9 fun questions. Don't overthink it. Don't get nervous. But I'm going to...
Just be yourself, Keegan.
Yeah. All right. So there's a movie about the life of Keegan Bradley. Who plays Keegan Bradley? And by the way, I told you this. Okay, who you got?
Well, I told you this at the Ranger Rib, that I got to have the most high-strung guy, so I'm going Shia LaBeouf. He has like a meltdown like every other week, so I'll choose him.
I like it. So we each get to come up with one for you as well.
Off the rocker.
Yeah. And I found one that I think is very good, and I think you're going to like it, actually. Does the name Jim Parsons ring a bell?
Yeah. He looked like Steele a little bit.
Did you say Steele? That's Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory. I know you're a big fan of The Big Bang Theory, so I thought that just would work perfect.
Yeah, I like that.
That's got to be flattering. I had you pegged, and I take a lot of pride in these picks, as Adrian Grenier from Entourage.
Wow, I was just watching Entourage before I did this, like 20, like right before I got on with you guys. That's I would take that.
Yeah, we'll get this movie made too, by the way.
By the way, I could rewatch the Entourage series every other week. They're incredible.
Oh, I love it. I've literally just been watching it like this whole afternoon. It's fine.
It's great. Number 2.
All right, number 2. Of the following 3, who do you think is the most handsome? Tom Brady, Julian Edelman, or Cam Newton? That's a lot. That's a hot lineup. Okay.
He's not going to go against Tom.
Dude, Edelman.
There isn't going to be a question where what's better and Tom Brady's in it. I'm going to choose Tom Brady every time. It's not even, you could name like 50 other people. It wouldn't matter.
Okay. Who's the best at math? No, I'm kidding. Okay.
All right. Okay. So after you won the PGA, you got to do some really cool things. And 2 of these happened in the same week. You got to throw out the first pitch at a Red Sox game and flip the coin before the Patriots game. Which was the better experience?
Well, for me, my mom has this little thing when I was like in kindergarten or first grade or something of what I wanted to do when I grew up, and it said I wrote throw out the first pitch at Fenway.
Oh.
So that was, and it was Red Sox Yankees, and it was a week after I won the PGA. They gave me a box, and I had like 30 people come, and that was. I also got to drop the puck at a Bruins game that same week.
Oh.
I had all 3 of them.
The holy trinity.
I went and I also went to the Celtics practice facility, and Danny Ainge gave me a jersey with my name on it with a red 8, and I shot 8 under at the PGA. So I could do all 4 of those in one week. It was pretty incredible. But the first pitch by far is like, I've been asked to do the first pitch again at other places, and I'm only a Fenway guy. I only do.
Wow, what a week.
Sorry about your life, Keegan. Things will turn around, dude. Yeah. Things will bounce. After every dark night, there's a bright day. That's Tupac. This is not one of the questions. If they had a radar gun on your pitch, what did you come in at on the first pitch?
Not hard. Because I practiced too, and all I wanted to do was not bounce it. So I was like I went and taught. They must have had a joke with the pitchers because I was so nervous. I'm nervous about everything, but I asked Tim Field, I said, what should I do? Should I do a wind-up or no? He goes, no, the biggest mistake is guys go out there and they do a wind-up and they do horrible. It's like, okay, perfect. And then John Lester was on the team at the time, and I asked him, I go, the same question. He goes, everybody does no wind-up, and that's why they screw up. You have to do a wind-up. So, like, this is like 10 minutes for him to go out, and I'm like, they had to have had it. People must ask this to them all the time. So I didn't do a wind-up, and I threw it soft, but it was over the plate.
Yeah, there's only downside in throwing out the first pitch. If it's terrible, it's going to be blasted everywhere. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you're fine. All right, so you did good because I haven't seen how. If it was bad, I would have seen a million replays of it. All right, next question. You're lining up at slot receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for an entire game. You're a very good athlete. That's been well documented. Do you end the game with a reception? Current day, okay, yeah. I think that's the right answer.
Tom Brady, so I could probably just run out there and it'll hit me in my hands. But no, I couldn't. I don't think so.
Okay, that's very honest of you, Keegan. I respect that.
Yeah.
All right, number 5. You've played a lot of golf with Phil Mickelson, a lot of golf with Michael Jordan, both legendary trash talkers. Who's better? Who gets you better?
MJ. MJ will say stuff that you're like laying in bed later and you're thinking, oh, that was brutal. Like, dude, MJ's tougher. Phil's is like kind of fun, but MJ's like, if you go at him, you better be ready. He's like Colt. He's like you. I don't like to say anything to you because you'll come back 10 times harder, and then you can't say anything back to you because it's like it doesn't affect you. But MJ by far.
Well, I'll just give you one right now, just to help you. Next time I talk trash to you, you can always just say, "Well, you've never interviewed me." So that'll help you a little bit.
Yeah, that's put it to bed.
There you go. See, I just hated on myself. Just get it out of the way.
That's good. That's good. And MJ and Colt do get brought up in the same sentence a lot of time.
A lot.
You're not the first person to put those two names in the same sentence. All right, next question. You're driving down the street. Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Mark Wahlberg are all standing on the side of the street for a ride. You only got 2 seats available in your car. Who are you leaving behind? Boston legends.
Ben Affleck.
Oh, I knew that would be. Everyone hates Affleck.
I've met Wahlberg. He loves to play golf. I've never met Damon, so I have to say Affleck.
I actually saw you in Hawaii this year when Justin Thomas took me to dinner with Wahlberg, and you came by and said hi.
Yeah. He loves to play golf. Yeah, he's such a good guy. Yeah, and he's a prop. He's from Dorchester. That's the real deal there.
I feel like all you Boston guys are such a tight-knit group. I'm shocked that you haven't met those guys, the other two.
Well, yeah, it's like if you're from New England or especially Boston area, you're like in a little club. You're like, are you from Boston? Then you're like automatically friends. It's not possible.
Yeah, it's so obnoxious.
All right. All right. Number 7. What's the biggest insecurity about yourself?
Biggest about my golf wise?
No, just about you in general. It can be
life.
golf, but just you in general.
My biggest insecurity about myself, probably my biggest. Wow, that got really serious.
Yeah,
This
dude,
is a
we bring
serious question.
the noise on this thing.
My biggest insecurity would probably be my biggest fear is in my golf career is I'm going to look back and think, man, I didn't do enough with the talent or what I think I could have done. So this is why I'm always practicing a ton, and I'm always worried that if I want to ask myself that question at the end of my career and not have that like, man, I think you could have done more. And I think about that all the time. And now I'm 34. You know, I'm all of a sudden not like I was always one of the younger guys in the tour. Now I'm not there. So I definitely that's my biggest.
Well, that's a great answer, but it's the wrong answer because I've heard from several friends, including your good friend Mr. Brendan Steele, that your biggest insecurity is your feet.
Oh my God! Wow, this is really serious. Yeah, it is. I won't wear sandals.
Mm-hmm.
I will always have socks on. Like,
I heard you go in the pool with socks on and then take them off.
That's weird, dude. That's weird.
That's what Brendan said.
That is so strange, bro. What's going on with your feet that we got to know about?
What is the problem?
Hold your feet up right now. I want to see one.
My wife will even say like they're not gross. I just like I find male feet are just like so disgusting. Like everything about them is just horrible. I feel very uncomfortable in my bare feet.
I cannot believe you swim with socks on.
That's that's really strange, bro. Let's take a quick dip. Let me go get my socks on. All right, I'll be right back.
All right.
Next question. You can't get mad at me for this because it was approved by a couple different people. They said it'd be okay. But all right, you and Miguel Angel Jimenez step into the octagon. Who wins and how long does it last?
Oh my God! Well, I'm half his age, aren't I?
Yeah, I think so.
We almost thought.
I know that's got to be quick.
He doesn't want any part of me.
That's what I figured.
All right, last one. This is a tough one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
John Curran, Jamie Lovemark, and Brendan Steele are all drowning. You only got one life jacket to save them.
Oh,
Who gets it?
Oh, shit.
Can we swear on this show? Are you kidding me?
You're going to lose 2 friends.
I'm staying with Brendan and Jamie right now. They're like right outside here.
So John's dead?
One of them's dying.
So I only have 2 life jackets?
No, you have one life jacket.
You only got one, bro.
Two are dead.
Supplies are short on this boat.
I have to save Johnny Curran. Yeah. We're gonna have to not let these guys hear that part.
R.I.P. Brendan Steele and Jamie Lovemark. Tough break. Learn to swim better, boys.
I love it. Well, Keegan, this has been an absolute blast, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this, and best of luck this week.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, go get them. Keep those feet covered up, bro.
See you, buddy.
See you, bud.
Well, Sleaze, that was so much fun. Keegan is just an absolute blast, and I love. First off, he swims in socks. That bothers me.
We did not get into that near deep enough, but I want to see one of these feet and what one of these little hooks that he's got on the bottom of his legs look like. They got to be terrible if he will swim in socks.
He had no idea that was coming. I have to thank Brendan Steele for that little bit of information. That was a very nice text he sent me. We do our homework here on Golf Subpar, but I love that he decided to choose John Curran after Steele killed him with the feet comment.
After drowning Brendan Steele. Yeah, I sent Steele a text after that because they were staying in the house together there in Columbus. I was like, hey, go in and ask Keegan Bradley why you just drowned. And he's like, all right, hold on. And he comes back and he's like, haha, it's okay. I would have saved Curran too.
Yeah, it was great. It was a lot of fun. Dude, a hell of a player too. I mean, he's got it. First off, you don't realize he went on a run there for like 3 or 4 years where he was in the Tour Championship, made a ton of money out on tour. Obviously a major champion winner, but a guy that really seems like he's getting back into form now that he's figured out this putting a little bit.
Yeah, the putting thing, I mean, he comes out, has one of the best rookie years that we can remember. I mean, he wins a regular tour event and wins a major. That rarely happens. And he's got everything dialed. He's rolling the shit out of it with the belly putter. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, hey, by the way, that secret weapon you got? Can't use anymore. I mean, that's a huge thing just mentally. And then he's experimented with a lot of different ways now. And hopefully he's locked in with that, arm bar with the claw grip, whatever.
It's not like choking
the same
anyone.
way Webb putts. So it works for Webb for sure. But yeah, it'd be good to see him getting comfortable with that putter because he's got a lot of game.
Everyone have a great week. We'll talk to you on next week's Golf Subpar.